This is from a real binder, real emails, real invoices from the back end of a $1.3 million feature film. What you're about to watch is not a warning from a film professor. It is the exact playbook, documented, dated, and proven, that the post-production and distribution uses to overcharge, gaslight, and financially destroy independent filmmakers after the movie is already done. This email was sent from an iPhone. A few sentences copied to everyone. And in these few sentences, Distributor tried to make the collapse of an entire delivery chain sound like my failure. You are to provide us with a fully QC'd film. It would be a ridiculous expense to start from scratch. We are terribly late now. That is the email. Short, cold, blunt. And if you are a filmmaker, you need to understand what you're really looking at, because this did not arrive at the beginning of the process. It came after the film had already gone through post-production, after quality control had already been done, after fixes had already been made, after vendors had already touched the film, after real money had already been spent. And somehow, in 2 sentences, the whole thing became your fault, filmmaker. Oh, and this little sentence here that says visual data needs to complete it. We didn't know who that was, but she did, because that's her vendor who does all the technical fixes on my dime. Think about that. That is the second trap. Everyone warned you about the first trap, scraping, borrowing, and begging just to get the film made. Nobody warns you about the second. I'm Krista Grotte Saxon. I am the owner of Nation's Fire, a $1.3 million feature film built by aviation investors who believed with me in a story worth telling. We were not naive. We did not walk into this industry on a dream and a credit card. I've been an actress for 25 years. We hired an Oscar-winning producing team because that is what serious filmmakers do. You attach credibility. You attach access. You attach someone who has been inside the machine and knows how it works. Someone who guaranteed. Oh, and he used that word. Guaranteed a distribution deal. He did not get it. Not because the film was not good enough, but because a $1.3 million indie film is not a lean enough budget for most distributors to work with profitably. He knew that before he took a job. He knew that. When a distribution deal finally came with a condition. Sign an agreement that gives the producer all revenue from the studio offer, and I would walk away with nothing. But I would get to say, oh, well, Lionsgate is on the film. Sign away everything. Or walk away with your film. We walked. And that is when the second trap fully opened. Because what an Oscar on someone's shelf actually guarantees is not distribution. It is access to a network. A network of post houses, editors, QC vendors, encoding facilities, all of whom have relationships with each other. All of whom bill your budget. All of whom benefit from keeping the film in post-production as long as possible. 2 years. Weekly invoices. Continuous billing. Friends employed in exchange for favors amongst each other. I paid for it. Favors that win awards. The post house was in North Carolina. The Oscar winners' offices were on the Universal Studios lot in Los Angeles. Why would an Oscar-winning producer on the Universal lot recommend a post house on the other side of the country? That question has an answer. The answer is in the binder. This email is dated August 8th. This is from our post-production supervisor working for the Oscar-winning producer. And this email went to our main investor, Robert, producing partner. The film at this point is finished. The film was finished by the Post House B-Clip as a widescreen 2.35 at the director and cinematographer's request. The director, the producing partner, not mine, a format decision made on my film with my money that was incompatible with the delivery requirements of the distributor we were supposedly moving toward. It was in the spec sheet. Nobody read the spec sheet. B-Clip will have to perform the pan and scan work, check, and possibly fix the position and size of the titles and credits and render out the full frame delivery master suitable to deliver to Vision Films, the distributor I ended up going with. The film will need to go through third-party quality control analysis with visual data, which is an external cost. Visual Data is a vendor that I have to use under Vision Films. External cost. After the film is finished. After 2 years of already in post-production, heading toward the filmmaker. August 27th. Now the distributor is already in the conversation. The owner of Vision Films writes to my post-production supervisor, the guy I hired under the Oscar winner. I am also wondering if the widescreen shouldn't be being QC'd in the meantime. A reasonable question on the surface. But notice what is happening? The distributor is now embedded in the post process, asking questions about quality control timing, positioning herself to have opinions about what passes and what fails. Is it a wonder as to why the director wanted this specific file format done? I'm getting charged to quality control the whole darn thing. Distributor's having a field day over here. I didn't approve it, and it wasn't on the spec sheet. Hopefully my emails are coming through. That is what we are pushing B-Clip for, to get this pan and scan done sooner. Additionally, the director and the distribution company owner, Lise, can you include Krista and Bob on your phone conversations regarding nations? We also need to be kept in the loop as to what's being discussed, because that is also where confusion comes in. I already knew. Conversations were happening without me. Decisions were being made without me. I'm the owner, you guys, 100% owner of this film. The filmmaker, the person who owned the asset, was being managed out of her own pipeline. Here's my email to her and the full chain of all the people overseeing post-production. Not all our business with Vision needs to include everyone, is what I said. I don't want to go through a third party to communicate with our distribution partners. That is exactly how information gets missed and things get manipulated. That is also how Bob and I get unknowingly pushed aside and will quickly become uninformed. So please, conference us in when you have things you want to discuss with Vision pertaining to Nation's Fire, my film. Information gets missed, things get manipulated. We get unknowingly pushed aside. I wrote that in August. I already knew what was happening. I just did not yet have the language for it. Next email, legal for NF. And then there's this one from him, the producer, partner to the Oscar winner, asking for a tracking number for the box of physical documents for my movie, Nation's Fire. Yeah, he wanted all my paperwork from my film. Here's his email. Can I get a tracking number for the box of documents for Nation's Fire to start filing to Vision? We need to schedule time with our staff and bring in our accountant to sort, scan, and upload. This will take time to do, so we want to get it done right away. You guys know why he sent that to Bob and not me, right? That box of documents is the chain of title, the copyright registrations, the contracts, the agreements, the legal paperwork that proves who owns what. The most valuable non-film asset an independent filmmaker has. And they wanted us to ship it to them immediately. You remember how Vision Films kept saying, now we're late, we have to hurry, we have to get this done? Move it, move it. It's for a reason. To keep you compliant with what they ask you to do. And my dear filmmakers, you are in real life getting to witness how the gatekeepers operate. This is an example of the Dream Cartel in action. And this is how they've gatekept for decades. So I'm going to read you my response. I will scan in the documents. I don't want to ship our entire asset because then you will charge us $50 million and say that is a standard fee in the industry to get it back. We have already lost our life on this. Please provide the list of what we will need. From Krista. Moi. We were up to 1.3 million. So everybody could do favors with their friends on mine and my business partner's dime. We have already lost our life on this. That is not a filmmaker being dramatic. That is a filmmaker who already knows she is inside something she was never meant to survive. The punch list arrives, and the post-production supervisor that I had hired working under the Oscar winner forwards an estimate from the CEO of the post house that they brought on for me, the ones who are on the other side of the country, that the Oscar winner obviously recommended. And I quote, "All of the items noted, production equipment is visible. Reflection in glasses are new items and original to the shot media. The post house estimate to fix the newly noted items is $3,871. These items weren't known in the original mastering work and can only be identified in the quality control process." Original to the shot media. Original to the shot media. These problems existed in the footage from the day the camera rolled. Not caught during 2 years of post-production? Not caught during color correction? Not caught during the original mastering? Appearing now? At the exact moment the distributor needed the film delivered? And the estimate? $3,871? This is the loop. Film delivered, quality control done, new items found, new invoice issued, responsibility redirected again and again and again. And this is what I wrote back. Why is it new items? How many rounds will we need to go receiving new work and new invoices? How long is this going to keep draining us? I want Bob to even see this. I did not want my investor to see another invoice, not because I was hiding it, because I was ashamed, not of anything I had done wrong, but of what was being done to us. Mind you, I'm already having to pay back $15,000 a month because I was told guaranteed distribution within 6 months. To go ahead, take out the additional loans because the budget had tripled from $560,000. Now we were at $1.3 million. And this is typical. No matter your budget, okay? This is typical when you want to get past the distribution phase because they gatekeep information. Let's keep going. Not of anything I had done wrong, but of what was being done to us and how powerless I felt to stop it. That is what psychological extraction does to a filmmaker. It does not just empty the budget. It empties the confidence. And that's why we accept and embrace the title of starving artist. It's become prideful. That's a shame. November 14th. 3 more months of vendor work so that my film could pass the quality control process and get onto all the streaming platforms we'd been so desperately waiting to get on, so we could start seeing those revenue checks, so I could start paying back those loans of $15,000 a month. 3 more months of pipeline activity. 3 more months of costs. And then this. This is from Lise, the owner of Vision Films. And I'm talking like she talks because this is what she did the only time I called her to ask about clear reporting, because she reported us in a deficit on my $1 million film. Right from the start, $40,000 in the hole. And studios and distributors know the most profitable time for every film is upon the release. You are to provide us with a fully QC'd film. Visual data needs to complete it. It would be a ridiculous expense to start from scratch and do a new QC. Please forward this to Visual Data and B-Clip. Thanks so much. We are extremely late now. Sent from her iPhone. A few sentences. Copy to everyone. No acknowledgement that QC was already performed by their own recommended vendor. No acknowledgement that fixtures were already made by their own recommended post house. No acknowledgement that their own servicing manager, Mr. Rob, was already embedded in the process, asking about audio mapping and naming conventions. Just, you are to provide. We are terribly late. This is your problem. And it's still going on in December. She's saying, oh, you're still late, while charging us for fixes. Look at these three together. August, a format decision made without the filmmaker becomes a delivery bill for the filmmaker. October, problems original to the footage that existed before post-production began became a new invoice in post-production. November, after quality control performed, and let me tell you, she failed us several times. Each scan is $1,000. Then we would get a full report of all the fixes that needed to be done, 700% markups in fixes. Okay? Typical with a distributor, because they earn their living billing you while you think they take care of the business. The business model is completely based off of our ignorance, because we put it all in their hands, the business side. November, after QC performed, after fixes made, after files uploaded, after 3 months of their own pipeline activity, a 2-sentence iPhone email arrives to tell me, the filmmaker, the film owner, it's all her fault. This is the playbook. What you just witnessed is not one bad distributor. It is not one difficult post house. It is not one frustrated filmmaker who did not do her homework, because I've been doing films for 25 years. And I've seen the same pattern on every single filmmaker, and I've worked with all different types of people, all different personalities, every single one of them trying to figure it out. Why can't they make money off their movies? It's a system. And the system has a structure. Step 1, accept the film. Create the impression that everything is on track. Step 2, introduce technical complexity, QC requirements, naming conventions, audio mapping, supplementary materials, confusion designed to overwhelm. See, because you guys weren't focused on any of this, the entire pre to post to delivery phase, because they kept pushing through the film conferences, through the film industry, through film discussions, through panels from distributors, from producers, from studios, that it's all about story and the look and quality of your movie, the lighting, how great the shots are, the actors, the cast. Step 3, they recommend their own vendors, post houses, quality control companies, encoding facilities, all of whom bill the filmmaker, all of whom have existing relationships with each other, none of whom are accountable to you or me, the filmmaker. Step 4, they apply pressure, as seen in the emails they sent to me. Urgency, deadlines, lateness, short emails, copied to everyone, tone that assumes guilt before the conversation begins. Now, if we really had these deadlines that were so important, why did they drag me along for 2 years with invoice after invoice, while I'm having to pay back $15,000 in loans, while I'm standing in the middle of Central Park receiving these phone calls from them? I felt like I was suddenly tripping on acid, my world just spinning around me as I realized what was exactly going on. Step 5, redirect the bill. Costs that belong to the pipeline land on the filmmaker because she has the least leverage, because she needs this more than anyone. Step 6, make it feel like her fault. Isn't that what predators do, you guys? They make you feel guilty. And then they get their people around them, and actors who are afraid to get blacklisted, or other people who are so afraid to get blacklisted from the damn industry that they don't get paid for, that they make you the predator too. Because you're telling the truth. Because you're strong, you have a thick skin, you're tough, you don't play. You're definitely not going to get played by a squealing thing like this. This is the part that does the most damage. Not the invoice, not the delay, not even the lost distribution deal. The moment the filmmaker starts to believe the chaos belongs to him or her, that I missed something, that I should have known, that somewhere in 2 years of trusting the people that I've paid, of course, that I am the one who failed. She did not fail. I did not fail. You did not fail. We were never meant to win. And here's the detail that makes all of this something other than incompetence. The distributor recommended the QC vendor. The producer recommended the post house. The producer that I paid 6 figures to because I trusted his expertise. I trusted the prestigious awards. But see, those are what he used as his leverage. Okay? Squeeze every penny out of unknowing investors who believe in him. Okay? Yeah, that producer recommended that post house across the country. The post house was in North Carolina. The producer's offices were on the Universal Studios lot. The QC vendor flagged errors original to the footage that had passed through 2 years of post-production without being flagged before, and issued a bill to the filmmaker, me. The distributor then demanded a fully QC'd film after her own recommended vendor had already performed the QC. Not 1, 3 times. Every vendor in the chain had a relationship with each other. They pretended to me, the filmmaker, and to you guys that they don't. None of them had a legal obligation to the filmmaker. But all of them billed the filmmaker. Post houses do not specialize in quality control, delivery, compliance for distributors. Did you know this? So we paid top dollar for a Hollywood-level post-production house. They don't even specialize. The Oscar-winning producer knew this because no post house specializes, because even they don't know. Okay? Distributors know this, which is why many of them have their own in-house vendors at markups that reach 600 and 700%. See, when you fail quality control, you get a whole report of several pages. Each page requires a technical fix. That technical fix, if you went with your own friend to edit that and fix that, or even some AI software program can do that for nothing. Distributor will charge you $3,871 for that same technical fix. The post house just fixes what it can. The distributor flags whatever he or she wants, and the bill finds the one address that cannot say no. And that is mine, because I was 100% owner of that film and not aware of this whole game. We have already lost our life on this. I spent years running, dealing, arguing in the center of 13,000 cab drivers in every terminal at JFK, LaGuardia, and New York airports. I know what manufactured urgency looks like. I know what a pressure tactic feels like. I know when someone is performing chaos to cover their own exposure. When somebody squeals at me or screams in my face, that's deflection, my friends. That's fear, okay? That's a way to shut you down so that you quit asking questions. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to step forward. I'm going to put my nose to theirs, and I'm going to ask you again. Her squealing, it worked on the men. I watched it. They wanted to hang up as quick as possible. I don't blame them. Even in that email chain. She's squealing. It did not work on me. But here's what's different now. Here's why I'm showing you this binder and my actual emails instead of burying it. We are in Neo Hollywood now. This is the complete transfer of power from studios to creators. The technology exists today, right now, for you to shoot your film, protect your rights, deliver your work, and get onto the streaming platforms without an Oscar winner who needs to pay his network and get him self-credits on other films that could potentially earn more awards, okay? Without doing the work, just billing people. Without a post house on the other side of the country billing you for errors that existed before they even touched the film. Without a distributor who sends a 2-sentence iPhone email and calls it communication. Without 2 years of your life disappearing into someone else's revenue. Without $15,000 monthly loan bill to pay back because you trusted and believed in the prestige of the people that you chose to surround yourself with and hire. You are not late. You are not broken. You are not dreaming too big. You are finally being shown how to win. And that binder, in fact, my whole box of paperwork, technical requirements for all the streaming platforms, deliverables, quality control, process, actual reporting, chain of title, metadata, understanding how to deliver a film and get it to move while building your revenue off your IP and building a sustainable business with it that will last years to come rather than just one-off movies. That binder, the one that contains everything that was done to us, became the blueprint for everything that I built to protect you. The Berserker Film Business Mastery Production Kit is that binder. And hell yeah, I'm selling it. Of course I am. I put 25 years of my life into this. At this point, I'm $2 million in. My own money. Not movie money. Not rich parents' money. Oh, I didn't come from that now. I rolled up my sleeves and I got to work and I spent 3 years building the Berserker Film Business Mastery Production Kit. Because if I had this when I did Nation's Fire, when I spoke to that Oscar-winning producer, and when I was under this whole starry-eyed gaze, this believe in dreams, this whole power of positivity bullcrap that I did, and not into reality and what was in front of me, and numbers and data and information, and my life would have been saved. This is rebuilt as a weapon for the filmmaker instead of against her. The Berserker Film Business Mastery Production Kit is that binder, rebuilt as a weapon for the filmmaker instead of against. The delivery knowledge they use to confuse us, decoded. The quality control process they use to bill us, explained in plain language. What every vendor in the post and distribution pipeline is actually responsible for, and when. How to read an email from a distributor and know immediately whether you are being informed or being managed. The chain of title paperwork they try to get us to ship to them in a box, in your hands, in your control. Never leave in your possession. The posture, the paperwork, the process of someone who cannot be extracted from because she knows exactly what she signed. And exactly what he or she is owed. This is not about creativity. This is about sovereignty. The part of the film business that burns independent filmmakers ends here. The Berserker era belongs to the creators. And one more thing. On the date on that Vision Films email, November 14th, that is my missing sister's birthday. And it's also the exact date I began building Filmmaker Berserk, November 14th, 2023. And it just turned out that way because when I went back through and saw, my sister's been missing for about 10 years. This is not random to me. This has weight. This has memory, and this has meaning. just like that movie did. But now I got something even better. I get to share this with you. I will see you at filmmakerberserk.com, Berserker.